Okay, we now welcome on Joey Baker. If you have a question for Joey, please use the hand raise feature. And when you're not asking a question, please make sure to keep your line muted. Today we'll start with Steve Wiseman. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Joey, just what was the team's, I guess, reaction to the loss the other night? What did you guys talk about as far as what you need to work on, and how did it go in practice today?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough loss for sure. I think we main thing came down to was our rebounding. Gave up too many offensive rebounds, and we just didn't make the plays that we needed to make throughout the game. Diving on the ground, toughness plays. So that's something that we addressed and that we've noted and that we plan on improving.
Brendan Marks.
Hey, Joey. Yeah, you mentioned the rebounding there. Are you guys identifying sort of the areas that have been a constant in a couple of these close losses, the rebounding, the turnovers, and you say we're going to improve on that. What are some of the things you guys can do to continue to improve in those areas?
Yeah, I mean, in these games, we're playing really good competition, and the margin for error is so small. It comes down to the small things. So, we have such a good coaching staff, and they put in tons of hours. Trying to address what we need to fix. And so we look over it as a team. We watch film, talk about it, drill it in practice, and then prepare to do better in the upcoming game, implementing it and correcting it going forward. So.
Jim Sumner.
Hey, Joey, appreciate your time. I want to ask you about Syracuse a little bit. Obviously, their 2-3 zone is one of their signatures, maybe the signature of that program. Talk about the challenges that zone presents and the benefits that can accrue if you can break that defense down.
Yeah, I mean, they're known for their zone, obviously, and they've done such a great job in it over the years. The zone can make you stand up, can make you lazy, and make you make plays that you wouldn't normally make. So we have to fight that urge of making arm passes, passing it around the perimeter, not trying to get it into the paint, that sort of thing. So we have to stick to our game plan, stay sharp, and execute the way that we were planning on executing the game plan that the coaches have given us.
As a shooter, does it energize you going into the game knowing that if Duke executes right, you're going to get some looks?
You could say that, yeah. I'd like to be ready for a couple open looks.
Okay, thanks.
We'll go to Connor O'Neill.
Joey, speaking of zones, the other night was really the first time we'd seen an extended look at Duke playing zone. How long have you guys been working that into the fold?
Yeah, I mean, coach is always making adjustments, feeling the game, and doing things that he thinks will give us the best chance to win. And, in the moment, the 2-3, that zone look, it worked for us. We were able to get stops, disrupt their rhythm. And, it's not something we're doing every day in practice, but we have it in our pocket if we need to pull it out. And, the circumstances arise where it was, something that we could use. And it ended up providing us with a great defensive energy down the stretch.
I'm sure you had confidence in its ability to work, but did it maybe work even better than could have been expected, given you haven't played it that much this season?
Yeah, I mean, that was our first time, like you said. I think we've really played it over and over again. So being able to execute it, considering we haven't really had any game reps in there, was good to see. So it's something that we have in our arsenal if we need it.
Evan Golan.
Joey, obviously Coach K, as well as some of the assistants have had experience in the past with really good Duke teams who have gone on to have success at the ACC and NCAA tournament level, who have lost some early conference games. So I'm wondering, if they've talked about some of those teams and like what they can learn from, what you guys can maybe use from those experiences they've had with some past Duke teams that have had some of these early tough losses like you guys have had.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously Coach has been through so much in his career. but also the coaching staff. All of them have played here for 4 years and have been through so much. So having them to kind of lean back on, and they understand that it's a struggle. Sometimes there's points in the season after a loss where you can get down on yourself or the team, whatever is going on, and just having their experience to kind of lean back on, and just learning from them. And that's all we can do. We would have loved to win that game. They were a really good team, and they played a great game. So all we can do is, look back at the film, go back to the drawing board, and what did we do wrong? Where did we lose the game? And kind of try and correct those things going forward, and just keep getting better, because it's a long season. That's all we can do is just keep improving.
All right, we'll go back to Brendan Marks.
Hey, Joey. Yeah, Connor and Evan just made me think of something. But I mean, so your freshman year, you're part of a team that's pretty dominant from the jump. The last 2 years, teams that definitely improved over the course of the year. When you think about those past experiences right now, I mean, do you feel like you guys are still in tinkering phase? You mentioned you've got the zone in your bag. You might not need it every single game. AJ just came back. We'll see what ends up happening with Trevor or whatever. But, do you feel like you guys are still sort of figuring out what the best versions of yourself look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's every team. It's a constant evolution. We're always trying to get better and improve, especially when different things happen, and circumstances arise where things have to change, or one thing goes one way, and you just have to respond to the situation. So the one thing that'll stay constant is the work that we put in, and our constant pursuit of just getting better and trying to be there at the end of the year.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more. We'll go back to Steve Wiseman.
Yeah, Joey, the other night at Florida State, you were part of that comeback late in the second half, after Trevor was out. So what did that teach you about the team, that you could do that, in those circumstances? You're down a key player, and we're able to accomplish that.
I think it showed our heart. It's something that I've noticed since I've been here. We have all the Duke teams, they're able to dig deep. Situations like that arise, you respond, and it's next man up. It's all about winning here, and however that has to get done, the guys are willing to lay it all on the line, and you just figure out a way to win. So, we fought hard to the very end, and they made big plays. They had a heck of a performance. So we tip our hats to Florida State, but we wanted to win that game, but there were plays, and we saw a lot of fight from our guys.
All right, Joey, we appreciate your time. If you guys want to remain on the call, we'll have Mark Williams shortly. Okay, we welcome on Mark Williams. Once again, if you have a question, please use the hand raise feature. We'll start with Brian Horace.
Hey, Mark, thanks for the time, man. Coming off that Virginia Tech game where you didn't score, you scored double figures in 4 out of 5 the last games. You're averaging 4.5 blocks and almost 10 boards a game. What do you attribute the rise in your play?
Probably just, my mindset going into each game. I just been focusing on, protecting the rim, rebounding the ball. I mean, we didn't do that well against Florida State, to be honest with you, but probably those things offensively, just being strong, dominating, being decisive, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Steve Wiseman.
Hey, Mark. One of the things that was lacking the other night was, they got a lot of offensive rebounds. Florida State did. What do you guys think you need to do to fix that, and what role do you want to play in that?
Yeah, definitely. Florida State out-rebounded us. Ultimately, that was probably, one of the driving factors in them winning that game. But I think for us, it's just important, for us to gang rebound, everybody go into that glass. On both ends of the floor, offensive rebounding too, providing us extra opportunities on the offensive end, and defensively, not allowing them to get extra possessions. They didn't shoot that well from the floor. I think it was like 30-some% like that. So, ultimately them just having 4 or 5 opportunities, that sort of thing leads to them winning the game like that.
Evan Cohen.
Hi, Mark. Last year, the coaches talked a lot about your work with Nate James. Obviously, he left for a head coaching job over the offseason. Then Emil comes in as sort of the front court presence on the coaching staff. So I'm just wondering if you can talk about what you've worked alongside with him so far this season, leading up to the beginning of conference play.
Yeah, I mean, with Coach Carroll and Emil, I think the biggest thing was like finishing and rebounding, protecting the rim, and then on the defensive end also being vocal. Allowing those guards to know where screens are coming from. Knowing they have help on the backside, that sort of thing. So I think those things have been pretty important with them.
Jim Sumner.
Hey, Mark, again, I appreciate your time. Kind of want to follow up on Steve's question about rebounding. Last year, we heard some variation of we got knocked back, they knocked us back, they pushed us back with some regularity. We haven't heard that from the coaches this year until the Florida State game. After the Florida State game, Coach K said this is the most physical game we've been in this year, and they knocked us back. He especially referenced some of those early second half possessions where they got a whole lot of offensive rebounds. As a competitor, is this something that was discussed in practice today, something that was worked on? As a competitor, how does it challenge you? How does it motivate you to have your coach basically say we got out toughed on national television?
Yeah, I mean, we watched film. We saw that play. I mean, it was early in the second half, right out of halftime. They got, they took that first shot, missed. I think I blocked one, missed the layup, missed, and then he finally got the dunk. Like those sort of plays, we can't allow to happen. That can give a team momentum because, I mean, we were up 5 coming out the break. That gives them a little life. And they were at home too, so they had the crowd behind them. But plays like that, we can't allow them to happen. We got to, hold them to one possession. Can't allow them to get, second, third, fourth opportunities. So.
We talk about the toughness factor. Do you feel like Florida State was just physically, mentally tougher than Duke the other night?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, we were down 8. We gave ourselves a chance to win. We forced overtime. We made a tough shot to, force the overtime because, I mean, we were up 2 with, like 7 seconds left. Then, at the end of the game, it was just big play after big play for them. Ultimately, they came out with the win, but I still feel like we were resilient and giving ourselves a chance. But at the same time, we shouldn't have put ourselves in that situation in the first place.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Connor O'Neill.
Mark, did the 2-3 zone at the end of regulation actually help you guys with rebounding?
Probably, yeah. I think it forced them into some tough shots. And obviously, we hadn't ran it all game, so it was, I think it messed up the rhythm a little bit. And again, I think sort of to the previous point, like it just gave ourselves a chance to win. So, given
that, and given how effective it was, really the first time all season you guys have played 2-3, is that something that you think we'll see more of?
I think it'll vary by game. I think every team has its own, personnel, its own matchups. So I think it's just by game basis is how we'll guard other teams.
Thanks, Mark.
Brendan Marks.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, I thought that what you just said about gang rebounding, especially, and everybody crashing to the boards was interesting. Is that made more difficult because of the fact that you guys want to run as much as you do, or is that just sort of an excuse for guys not getting back like they should?
I think it's just more of, all right, let's say, for example, I go to block a shot. If I go block a shot, I'm not going to be able to necessarily get that rebound. I'm going to need, another wing or somebody to crash down and get that rebound if I go for that block. Or another situation like, another guard shoots it. Like it can't just be like on the bigs, like guards can get rebounds as well. And I think when we get those rebounds, that'll lead in offense in the transition where we, do pretty well. So I think that sort of thing.
Okay, we have time for one more. We'll go back to Jim Sumner.
Hey, Mark, we've talked a lot about rebounding, but we asked about another aspect of defense. Duke's best games this year, Duke's forced turnovers, especially live ball turnovers, gotten out in transition. Florida State, I believe, had 5 turnovers. The other ACC game, Duke lost against Miami. I think they had 4 or 5 turnovers. What does Duke have to do a better job of forcing turnovers and turning those into offensive opportunities?
I think, just being aggressive on the defensive end. And then I think Another point is us being stronger with the ball. I mean, if we don't turn the ball over, then I mean that'll allow for them to be the ones to make the mistake, not necessarily just us forcing turnovers. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, just us being strong with the ball, and then on the defensive end, just being aggressive.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Mark, we appreciate your time. That'll conclude today's availability. Thank you, everybody, for joining the call.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Colin.